This is the Delaware County Newscast. I'm Andrew Kantor. County officials are still coming up with excuses not to share sales tax revenue with towns and villages. That's prompted some of the county's mayors to start exploring a nuclear option, turning villages into cities. That would open up a lot of potential revenue sources, but step one will be to petition residents to see how they feel about it. SUNY Delhi is asking local landlords to make it a little easier for students to find nearby housing, but Delhi Mayor Jeff Gearhart and the village trustees are not happy at all with that. There's enough of a housing crunch already without those whippersnappers renting them. As Gearhart put it, we can't become the dormitory of the college. On the other hand, it's better than having the college buy houses in the village, because that would mean those houses would come off the tax rolls. People in Roxbury noticed that there was a hose connected to a fire hydrant and going into a back window of Mountainside Creamery. They immediately took to social media to make wild speculations, but in reality, Mountainside has an agreement with the town that lets it take water that way in the event of an emergency. The management team just forgot to notify the town before hooking up to the hydrant. Once that was all cleared up, it was pretty much no harm, no foul, but it gave people something to talk about. If you live in Margaretville and your pipes freeze, you should know that the village trustees are sick of having to repair the same homeowner's pipes over and over. They're planning a public service announcement on local cable television because the kind of person who lets their pipes freeze repeatedly is probably the kind of person who watches local cable TV. They're also talking about raising the fees to fix the pipes of repeat customers so taxpayers aren't on the hook anymore. The village of Sidney basically got a failing grade from its auditing firm. It seems the village's finances don't take into account all the vacation and sick days it owes its employees. When someone leaves, they usually get paid for unused vacation and maybe even sick days, but the village hasn't kept track of that, so it kind of throws all its accounting out of whack. It all means that the village doesn't really know what kind of financial situation it's actually in until officials there spend a lot of time sorting through records and redoing the budget. Speaking of budgets, Margaretville got its first taste of that sweet cannabis tax money. It just got a couple of checks totaling about $6,500 that covered just the last half or so of 2025. That's since the Lively Harvest dispensary opened on Bridge Street. The village and the town of Middletown each get 1% of every sale, and if the town of Sidney is any indication, that can add up pretty quickly. And that's your quick look at some of what's been happening around the county. You can hear us weekends here on WDLA or anytime at delconewscast.com. Until next week, I'm Andrew Kantor. Thanks for being here.